Hello everybody and welcome back to Botch Job of the Week, the show in which I don't spend enough time preparing and have to just kind of crap out a video super quick in order to not break a habit, because I know if I do break the habit of making a video every week, I will never come back to this, and that would be really depressing. Now I can see. It's crazy. Took my glasses off so I could go to the bathroom. Does that make any sense? No. But it happened. This week will be really short again, and that is because of my own poor life decisions, where I decided to spend my entire weekend devoted to League of Legends, both watching the World's Finals and then binging Arcane, which y'all gotta watch Arcane. Side note, because holy crap. Anyway, so without further ado, we're going to just go ahead and jump straight into this week's recommendation. We'll see if you can guess the plot, because, well, you'll see. This week's manga of the week goes to a story about a grandpa and grandma who return to their youth. As the title hints at, this story is about a grandma and grandpa that return to their youth. The story is by Araido Kagiri. You know the shtick. And is yet another Twitter webcomic that is made by a otherwise published / well-known author. I didn't personally know that the author had a serialized manga until I started doing my research today. And I'll probably read it, just going based off of my own love for this one I'm talking about, and also that I hear that it has tomboys in it, and as none of you know, because I haven't talked about it actually in this series, I'm a sucker for a good tomboy. Moving back to this week's manga, of course, we come across an elderly couple only known as Jii-sama and Baa-san. They say their real names later on in the manga, but it doesn't really have any pertinence, and they only refer to each other as Jii-sama, which means grandpa in Japanese, and Baa-sama, which is grandma in Japanese. Yeah. They live in the countryside, have been married for a very long time, and have been getting on in years. Mysteriously enough, however, one day, they revert back to around their early 20s, and it's not really explained. Youthful and invigorated, they begin to rediscover the wonder of reliving the glory days and the freshness of their own relationship. While what I said kind of sounds like a cheesy synopsis off of IMDb concerning some kind of holiday Hallmark movie, it really does do this story justice, kind of. It's not as cheesy as I make it out to be. It's actually a very well-crafted story, but that's the only way I can really describe it without getting too far into details. The manga is extremely funny. There's the dynamic of Jii-sama and Baa-sama's family trying to come to grips with the fact that their parents are now younger than them, and all of the elderly people, their friends, and the countryside community they live in trying to... Well, actually, they don't try. They do a pretty good job of just accepting it. Whatever. Anyway, it's all presented very well. However, there is this lingering undertone of anxiety throughout it. There is anxiety about not really knowing when they're going to revert back, or if they're going to revert back to their elderly state. There's anxiety about possibly outliving their own children now because of some magical whatever it is. They don't know why they changed. I don't know why they changed. Overall, though, it really does show a good job of demonstrating an elderly couple's dynamic. Somebody or a couple that has been married for so long that they know everything about each other. They've lived their lives longer together than they did alone or with their parents or whatever, and how that might look if they suddenly were able to just do it again and keep going, and if they would try to relive the past, rewrite it, try to get in on younger lovers trends, stuff like that. It's a very interesting exploration into that. So all that is to say, to conclude, it's the normal conclusion that I'm giving whenever I recommend something. All of these manga of the weeks are recommendations because I'm probably not going to spend my time, unless it's another type of video, going into manga that I don't think you should read. So yeah, my conclusion is the same as normal, where it is just go read it for yourself. It's only got like 59 chapters. Each chapter ranges from or they average like 9 to 11 pages. It's a very easy read. The art is very clear. The dialogue is funny and sobering and all of that at the same time. And it's just, I sound like a broken record. I realize that. I realize that every week I kind of end up concluding the same way, where I say that the art is good and the dialogue is good, and it might sound disingenuous even at this point where I've only made, this is like the 4th episode or something like that. But I promise, whenever I say this kind of stuff, I really mean it. Each one, whenever I say that the art is good, or the dialogue's good, or it's funny, or it's sad, or whatever, I mean that in different ways. I just have a very poor way of articulating it. Which is why, ultimately, I just say, go read it for yourself. Because there isn't, my opinion is not objective. My opinion is subjective, and therefore you should go and form your own opinion about it. I don't want to get into the whole thing of opinions and objectivity, because that will get really ugly really fast. Anyway, that does it for this week's episode of Manga of the Week. Please go check this out. I always leave a link in the description somewhere for somewhere you can read it. It's just really good. I don't have anything else to say. So, I will see y'all next week, and ideally, because now I'm not going to be distracted, hopefully, as much by League of Legends, except that 3 more episodes of Arcane come out next weekend, so maybe I will be. Hopefully, I'll be able to have a longer manga and something more substantial and intellectual to talk to you all about. Anyway, see you later. All right. Oh, fudge.